to go meet the cool guys at the After Dark show. That's how it went.
Well, you know that issue we were discussing before about how Ben just hits record when he feels like it.
Exactly. I was already warning Ted. I'm like, don't say anything crazy.
Don't start
Nothing
talking about the insert racial minority here question. Don't do that.
Oh, no, of course not. Of
Yeah.
course not.
All right, gentlemen, welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. First, the audience knows the rules. You guys bring a topic, something you want to talk about, something you want to show and tell, something that triggers you, makes you angry. I think you guys understand. But,
Yeah.
well, let's address the Swedish guy in the room. We have Joel on here from Omaha, and everybody knows him. And then we have someone else, some voice. Talk, new guy.
Yeah, I'm the new guy. I'm from Sweden, yeah. My name is Ted, and I'm a hipstick shooter, so yeah.
I can't tell if you're doing the Swedish shtick right now, or for that. I think that's kind of how you talk. Perfect.
Yes.
All right. So Swedish Ted is on here now. Probably nobody knows who Swedish Ted is, but I'll introduce you because I know you're a modest guy. I met Ted in 2017 when I was giving a course, I think in Gothenburg. Was that it?
Yeah, it was Gothenburg, yeah.
All right, so I was in Sweden giving a course. I met Ted. I was like, this guy seems talented to me. And then sometime after the course, let's just say there's an implied causal connection here. Ted became Swedish national champion in production.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
correct.
Draw your own
That's
conclusions. I think that, it was maybe like 3% me. I should say Sweden is a stout country to be winning production in. Wouldn't you say so, Ted?
It's not easy, that's for sure. Some pretty good guys in Sweden, so yeah, it was hard.
Yes. Okay. So now, Ted, if you want to talk about yourself for a minute before we get to the show.
Well, I think you covered most of it. There's some stuff in between there. Well, I don't know.
Yes, trials, tribulations, working hard, training all the time, the blood, sweat, the tears.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I started hosting classes late 2017 in Sweden, but really got onto it now in 2018. So most of my shooting actually was spent on the ranges hosting classes in 2018 because that's what gave me most energy and good vibe, teaching others, and it's really, really good for my own shooting. So yeah, I really appreciate all the guys who wanted to take my class. So I probably hosted 20 plus classes this 2018. So that's really good for me, and I really like it, of course.
And you do your own podcast as well.
Yeah, I have a podcast that's called, it's in Swedish, Swedish name, it's called Skyttepodden, but it's actually the shooting pod in Swedish. And Ben, you were on it.
I was on it, but I was in the English version.
Yeah, you were in the English version, yeah. I also had Ballesteros was on, Grafella was on the pod. So,
awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, it's good.
Those guys were on in English as well, I assume.
Yeah, some English, Spanish, and some English, French vibe on it. No, no, they're actually pretty good at English. Probably better than me sometimes. So
I think Corey's probably better than me at English.
Yeah, they're both good dudes. So
well, they're smart too. That's the main problem.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Joel, what do you have?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Trigger warning.
Okay.
So I want to talk about slowing down and getting your hits.
Seems like a good idea to me.
Yes.
Well, it picks up steam towards the end there. I don't know about that first part, but it gets better as it goes, right?
Yeah, right. Well, I hear this fairly frequently. Someone has a miss and they say something like, oh, I just needed to slow down. Or maybe a BOC comes over and shakes his head and is like, you're going too fast. You need to slow down and get your hits. That's absolutely stupid, and I'll tell you why. So if you have a miss...
Whoa, Joel. This is as crazy as I've heard you get.
All right.
Whoa.
Well, there was a specific situation that fueled this that you're not going to get to. So anyway, if you have a miss on a tight partial and you aim once and you fired twice, the problem is you needed to aim 2 times on that target. Slowing down anywhere else in that stage isn't going to change the fact that you didn't aim for both shots on that target. So how about this for an approach? So I shot an indoor match recently. I had a miss on the last target. That was caused from I started to shoot before I had the gun transition to the target. So that really frustrated me. I saw it. I knew it happened. So in dry fire, then I set up a transition like that. Or I did wide transitions, and I worked on that every day for a week just to make sure it didn't happen again. So like slowing down to get your hits will just make you slow, probably. So if you have a miss or an error during a stage, find out what caused that and then train on that so it doesn't happen again. How's that?
Okay, but it's not slow down and get your hits.
No.
I think I wrote a book that had this listed as one of the errors in there.
Oh. Yeah, man, like think about it. What happened? What specifically did you need to change? If it was like one target, like doing anything else other than aiming at that one target, that's not going to fix your problem, you know?
Well, it is like to me, it's the most pleb level kind of low grade thinking that you can apply to a problem. You know, if somebody's brand new at shooting and they're just shooting like a maniac, you know, you could say to them, "Hey, dude, slow down a little. I get it. I understand." And if somebody's shooting like a complete wuss, it's like, "Hey, you know what? You got it. You got to go faster. You just got to." And maybe they're going to figure some stuff out. But for people with any skill at all, they have to understand that the speed's not really the problem.
Yeah, I heard that a lot when I started shooting. You know, you have to speed down, you have to slow down really slow because you know, my hits wasn't that good, but I was actually fast hosting stuff.
Dude, you are out of control how fast you are. It's awesome.
Yeah, but all the time they said you need to slow down. But it just made me pissed off because I knew that slowing down was not the problem. The problem was I was doing something wrong, and it doesn't matter how fast or slow I was doing. It's going to be the same problem on the appear on the target. So yeah, you need to figure out the problem, not slowing down. That's probably not the problem.
Yes.
Yes. All right. I'll go. My turn. I have just returned. Well, I'll be at home for about the next 26 hours.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, I've just
Enough time to do laundry and roll again.
Yes, and
You do laundry?
no, not really. But video editing up videos. Like I've got an upload going up to training group right now. You know, all the regular stuff. Edit videos, repack my bags, and get going again. I've returned from a trip to South America. I shot a club match in Buenos Aires, which I've been there a few times to train with Gaston. He's been on the podcast before, a long time ago, in the before time, I guess. That's a Mad Max reference for you there, Joel. You love it.
I've not seen the new Mad Max. The old ones
from
were
the
good.
third
Mel
one. It's
Gibson.
the one with like Tina Turner in it.
Oh.
Thunderdome. Is that
Yes,
Thunderdome?
Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus,
nah.
Joel.
The
Get
first
with
one
it.
was good. I don't know.
The first Mad Max was garbage.
Well, at the time I thought it was good. Now watching it would probably be terrible.
The first Mad Max was not very good. The Road Warrior was the one that everybody loves, and Beyond Thunderdome's super weird and polarizing.
I never saw that one.
And then Fury Road's really polarizing too. But I love Fury Road, so that's where I'm at on that.
Okay.
Anyway, let me get to my point. I've been there before. I go down there. It seems like every year now to train with Gaston. He's a smart guy. He's not the best guy at shooting in the world. He's really good. He got on the podium in standard, I think, at the Extreme last year, didn't he, Ted?
Yeah, and I also think he had some
He had some gun problems.
malfunctions. Yeah.
He could have maybe won. Anyway, Gaston's really good at shooting, but his approach is very different from mine. And a lot of the newer drills or exercises or changes to my course, it comes from I don't want to say I take drills from him. I don't really. His training style is so different from mine. He shoots no dry fire, 100,000 rounds a year of live fire if he's training hard. Very simple drills, and I enjoy going to train with him. But this was my first time shooting their match there. And I say club match, it wasn't a US style club match. It was a 9-stage big match taking place over a whole weekend and a lot of guys shooting it. And I always do enjoy shooting matches to kind of get a different flavor. And I would say the flavor in Argentina is very different than anything I've seen in the US. So the stages were, Joel, I sent you the match video, didn't I?
Yeah, I watched it all today. Dude, it was extremely tough. Like, especially those partials at distance. It was crazy. Lots of small steel, like half targets.
Yeah, so a lot of shooting at 20 yards, 25 yards, 30 yards plus. It was, there's one target that was very telling. I think it was at 30 meters, and it gave you 5 or 6 inches of brown to shoot at. So below that, there'd be no shoot. Above that, there's air, and you got 5 or 6 inches of brown. And to me, that was the toughest shot I'd ever seen in a match. Ever. And I've been doing this like 15 seasons now. And the interesting thing is, the guys at the club, they looked at that shot, they don't even blink. They're like, yeah, that's every month they have one of them.
That's crazy.
If that gives you an idea of the flavor there. Now the stages weren't super complicated, but you get 3 minutes to figure them out. You didn't get a long time because it's IPSC, of course. But the shot difficulty was extreme, like all the way to one side. So I really gave me some insight into Gaston's training and to what made him the shooter he is. Like, he's extremely strong on really difficult long shots. He doesn't get intimidated by any of that stuff. He's not really quick at USPSA style stuff because he doesn't do any dry fire and he doesn't do close range shooting. But if the shooting is far, it's like, watch out. Like, Gaston's as good as anyone at that, like world class at that type of match. And by shooting his match at his club, I definitely understand why now. And it gives me more insight into how to train better and make myself better. So I did enjoy the experience there. It was quite nice. And I learned a lot.
I just can't imagine that being the normal. Like, that was an extremely difficult match. So
it was summer there. So it's January. There it's midsummer, so nobody's working. Nobody does shit in January there. And the summer matches are the easy ones. Like, because nobody's doing anything. So the stages get much more complicated during the winter, March, April, when guys are training seriously. That was just like a dick around match, Joel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was
So
like,
basically,
oh, no.
he's like training on super hard stuff mostly, or
Yes. So apparently, the Argentinian guys were traumatized. That's the word Gaston used. They were traumatized by the World Shoot in Bali in 2008, and then they said never again. So they make their matches crazy every time, like crazy. So yeah, that was good, and of course a productive trip for me. I learned a lot training with Gaston. There was one day, I think I told you about this, Joel. There was one day where I was training, and I was like, "Yep, the whole trip's worth it just for this one training day." I learned about some new concepts that I want to experiment with, and probably be changing up my training. So,
I'm anxious for you to want to unveil that. That will be exciting.
yeah, no, I mean, just like you've seen like little tweaks every year to the training system, and it ends up to being a big change over time. It's 80% different now than it was 5 years ago, I would say, my classes. So that was good. And it's Gaston and I learn from each other because our approaches are so different. That's what it is. So I like that.
That's
Anyway, and I actually I set aside time every year to train with other guys that are strong and I can learn from. So I've got a few more opportunities coming this year. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be shooting with Martin Kaminicek hopefully in a couple months. He's really good. You know who that is, Ted?
Yeah, a Russian guy.
No, he's Czech.
He's Czech, okay. But you're gonna train in Russia with him?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Learn a lot from Martin. He's
He's
very
the
strong.
Czech guy that used to shoot open, but now he shoots production optics, right?
Yeah, he's excited about production optics. Okay, Ted,
Yeah,
what do you got?
I'm triggered.
Ooh,
Perfect.
good.
Join the club. I love it.
Yeah,
Joel's
I
mad too.
think
It's
I
because
stu-
you guys have been cooped up in the cold, and you're getting angry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also there's some changes in the rules for IPSC, especially in production division, that seems to set people off, and I can understand why, because I've seen it on a couple of Facebook pages. It's one called Ask IPSC, and the latest was that even Henning reached out and asked about this rule. And it's the rule says aftermarket springs and trigger assemblies are permitted. So, which is probably could be a good idea, especially using aftermarket springs, because that's probably what most people would have done anyways, but no one could really
Force
check
it.
Yeah, force it. So the problem is the trigger assembly, that no one has defined what actually trigger assembly is. So for a Glock, for instance, it's actually the trigger and trigger bar, and everything like that. But what is it for like a double action, single action gun? So there's this discussion about what is actually the trigger assembly and what the parts are. So that's started to piss people off, I guess. And no one really got an explanation for the guys that actually write the rules. So I don't know what's happened with that, and I think it's pretty bad, mildly saying it. Yeah,
No, it's a shit show.
yeah, yeah. That's what it is. I mean, if you're changing a rule or making changes to the rules, it should be for the better, I guess, not actually making stuff even worse.
Right. Had they just allowed aftermarket springs, I think,
Yeah.
like, I would get behind that. It'd be like, yep, that it's not really
Yeah.
enforceable now.
Yeah, for sure.
I think a lot of guys are getting away with it, and
Yeah.
there's no reason to do that shooting a Tanfolio, to be honest with you, because you can get factory springs of any weight you desire. But with a few other gun manufacturers, it's like, I mean, yeah, you're going to use people use aftermarket springs all the time.
Yeah, but it's just weird that you trying to fix something, and then it gets a lot of questions and people starting threads on forums and whatnot, and a lot of comments just pop in a couple of days. There's 100, 200 comments, and nobody has a clue, and everyone is thinking differently. So that is, for me, that's a typical bad rule, at least in writing. So. Yeah, they have to do something about that.
What do you think they're going to do?
I think they're just gonna put out a statement saying that trigger assemblies is everything that moves pulling the trigger. Basically, that's what I think they're gonna do.
Okay, well, at least that's clear, but that may not make everybody happy.
No, everybody's not gonna be happy, no matter what.
Wow. Great. Super. So you're angry because of the confusion, I take it primarily.
Yeah, the confusion, and if they're changing the rules to something, they could just define what is the trigger assembly, or if they cannot do that, and there's some people thinking something different than the guys actually making the rules, to just take that away and just, as you said, aftermarket springs, yeah, good to go. It's not enforceable as you say it, so just say that's good to go, and then don't care about everything else. They changed the rules for the trigger pull for striker fired guns, so that's 3 pounds now.
And that made sense.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah, so if they just changed the rules about striker fired guns to 3 pounds, and then aftermarket springs are good to go, I mean, that would be a good fix. That would be pretty good. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a shit show, as you said.
How dare you? But I did say that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good deal. Let's go to a question. Let me pull one up here. I listen to the podcast on a regular basis and appreciate the insight the group brings to practical shooting. I download the podcast and listen to them on my weekly flights, which leads me to my question. I travel full-time Monday to Thursday and would like some tips the group uses to accomplish dry fire practice when living out of a suitcase on the road. I'm sure you and the group spend a significant amount of time away from home base, that you have picked up some do's and do nots along the way. Thanks. Okay, what do you think, Joel? Do you do dry fire on the road when you're going to a match or something?
Yeah, if I'm able to take my gun with me, I would. If you're not able to take your gun with you,
Let's assume you could take your gun.
Oh, yeah, just take your gun, take all your gear. When you do your business nonsense during the day, and then at your hotel room, get some portable dry fire targets, set them up. Maybe if you have a part-timer that you can adjust the volume, turn it way down so you don't annoy anybody on the hotel room next to you.
Or you put it on top of a pillow.
Okay.
You could do that. So
Yeah.
do's, you want to be ground floor because you don't want to be dropping magazines on the second floor, because that will annoy the people under you. The rule that I use when I'm dry firing is I'll put targets out or whatever, do what I need to do, but then I try not to leave any evidence of any dry fire when I'm not in the room, because I don't want the maid to wig out.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'll secure the gun in a locked case, and then hide the case inside another suitcase. So they'd have to really go looking for it to find it, or use a safe if the room has one. But the big thing is I don't really want anybody to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. Well, I guess that would go for a lot of hotel room activities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of activities you do by yourself.
Just
when
use your
you're
imagination.
traveling.
Yeah.
Who said you were by yourself, for one? You're really assuming a lot there.
Yeah.
Ted, what do you think? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, what I would do is, since I don't travel with my gun, if I'm not going to a match, I just set it up at the hotel maybe the night before, going to shoot the match, just one or two mini, this dry fire targets, and most of the times I don't even use a timer when I'm in the hotel room, just because, that, like you said, it could annoy some other guests having a timer on, or even if you turn the volume down. So for me, it's just about consistency and doing the draws and reloads, and not much about making part times if I'm doing it prior to a match, let's say.
Yeah, and I like to bring another case, like another gun case for my targets. I do like that. Don't forget your pro grip if you use it.
Yeah.
These are just things that I like.
Yeah.
What about flying with magazines with dummy rounds in them, or like ammo you've loaded with without like a primer or powder?
Basically, the way it's going to work with TSA, I would assume, I'm not really assuming, I do assume when I take dummy ammo to the airport that they're going to consider that ammo, and I'm not going to argue about that.
So make sure you have that separate from the gun.
Of course, like they're just like to them is like, oh, that's ammo, and you're like, whatever, fuck it, like this isn't worth an argument.
So having that in a separate, like a ammo box, I think would be a good idea.
Yes, that's how you're going to want to fly with it. So that would be my do's and don'ts. So plan ahead, just plan for people to consider that it's a gun. You want to like close the shades so nobody knows what you're doing. Like there's just basically a lot of conversations that I don't really want to have with people when I'm doing that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of hotels do have policies written on the doors that disallow having weapons. So I don't ask them to keep my gun at the front desk because I don't want there to be an issue. I mean, if they have a centralized safe or something, I never have those conversations with people. It's not productive.
Sounds smart.
Yeah. Look at me, Joel. I'm all non-confrontational.
Yeah.
That's
Who
me.
is this Ben? Yeah. What have you done with the real Ben?
Well, it's just really easy to go
He's
around.
left in Argentina.
in Argentina.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's less effort to just
No.
not create the confrontation. It's like, oh,
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like, just do what I want to do anyway.
yeah.
That's how I like to do it. Well, all right, gentlemen. I think that wraps up our show. Thank you, Ted, for coming on, getting all spicy, talking about dumb rule changes to IPSC.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's staying
Well-
up so late.
How about this? Poorly thought out rule changes.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Do you like having two production optics divisions? Are you a big fan
Oh.
of that?
You really want to get me started on that?
Oh yeah, you guys have light and heavy production optics, right?
Yeah, it's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke. I don't even. I'm curious. I would really like to know what the thought behind that is, and what made them separate the division with a light division. Who knows?
I hope
I
you
think
would.
there's.
I guess
Yeah,
not.
but I guess I don't have a smart answer for that. I think it's there's this what people think is the truth about that, and then there's probably what IPC would like to tell everybody is the actual truth, and there's actually the real truth about that. I think there's some politics behind it. It's got to be, because why else would they do a stupid thing like that if it's not some politics or money involved in it? It's just dumb.
I don't even like the assumption that people say polymer guns can't be competitive. I can think of a friend of mine that shot a CZ last year, and he went back to his Glock because he likes it better. I don't know matter. I think it boils down to the operator more than what handgun it is.
Yes, but that's been the thinking forever. When Glocks were winning everything, then you were a dumbass if you didn't have a Glock.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I heard that.
And now
I don't
things
buy
have
into it.
changed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh well. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to kill the show here. Listeners, if you have a question you want the answer to, go to benstigger.com. Send me your question. Love to hear from you.